Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. I am Heather with Rose Hill Paper Cottage, and this is my design team project for Chapter 1 papers. So today I'm going to share how I am creating these seed packet parcels. I'm working in a smaller journal, and these seed packets are just perfect because they're tiny, they're decorated, so they're a nice base for what I'm going to make today. So you'll just want to print out some seed packets. I'm using the vintage Broderick kit, but they have tons and tons of different seed packet kits to match whatever project you're working on. And I printed these out on a variety of papers and also printed on the back of them, most of them. Those are label mixtures. I didn't print on the back of those. And then that's from the Victoriana kit. I wasn't sure how I was going to use everything. I also printed a couple of pages from the Cottage Ephemera and Junk Journal kit. So I'm just showing like other scraps I got together, like that wallpaper and embossed paper, and just, assorted, tea-dyed paper, packaging paper, piano roll paper, ledger scraps. I just pull everything for the project. There's an old letter and book page and an old envelope in there. Some hole reinforcements. And then I also pulled some just out of my scrap pile of, fabrics and trims, some sari and some twine. So it's kind of how I start every project. I just kind of pull out everything that I think that I'm going to use that match, coordinate with my project, my vision, and then I just kind of go from there and see what happens. So I'll be cutting out all of the seed packets that I'm going to use, and I'm not exactly sure at this point how I'm going to construct them. There's a lot of different ways that you can create with these. They don't have to just be a pocket if you don't want to. They're a great design on their own. And the flap can be folded either direction. Even though it's all like to go a certain direction, sometimes thinking out of the box, helps. So for this first one, I'm actually going to tear off the back part of the seed packet. And what's great about that is that you could actually use that piece. You could just kind of fold it, glue it on itself, and then that can also be another little journal spot. So for this one, my thought is that I'm actually going to glue it to a page in the journal. So it'll kind of look like a seed packet, but it won't be. There won't be a pocket on it. But I'll show some different variations. So I'm thinking here about, do I want to leave some of these open, to work as an actual seed packet? Because my original, thought in the design of working with this journal was that I would just glue it to the page. But I like to show options. And then you may even come up with some, of your own and do some different things with them. So they easily fold, if you want to use it as an actual, envelope there. You can just fold up all the flaps and glue them. And then here I'm showing where I took that piece. You can just fold it in half. I don't actually end up using that in these, but it's a great way to use up scraps, especially if they're white on the back and you don't want the white. Just fold them in half, glue them, and then you've got, a perfect little spot to, use for journaling, a perfect scrap. You saw me hesitate there. I was still thinking, I was like, this is on that thinner copy paper. So I just felt like it was too thin to be a pocket as well. And so I'm just going to glue it closed. When I work on thinner paper, I sometimes like to smooth out the glue so it doesn't, just kind of make the paper kind of weird or anything on the other side. And I'm just removing the excess glue. I suppose I could have removed this part from the video. I cut a bunch. I worked for a couple hours here and, I don't think you want to watch me craft for a couple hours of, gluing and cutting and all that sort of thing. So you see here as I'm thinking of how to reinforce the top. So that top portion is what is going to hold all of the pages. So they aren't going to be punched all the way through the seed packet. They're just going to be punched through that flap, which it'll all make sense when I put it together. So because I had printed that out on copy paper, if I would have used a better paper, then I wouldn't need to do this step. So I'm only doing this because I printed it out, and I think copy paper is like 20-pound paper. I did print out some other on like 28-pound paper, which was, a better quality paper. But then on those, I didn't print on the other side. Go figure, huh? Isn't that how it always works? You think like you've got your ideas and you go and you do everything, and then it's like, nope, not going to work. I do that often. You just don't see it all. So I'm just gluing that down to help reinforce that flap part. Isn't that so cute? I love that pattern. It's so funny watching this back. I'm like, why didn't I speed that up? Why didn't I cut that out? Oh, well, this is what it is today, guys. And I'm using, I think, the 3-in-1 beacon glue. I just get whatever's on sale. So if it's Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Fix, 3-in-1, poster board, whatever it is, I'm grabbing it. So that's completely sealed, but it doesn't, it looks like it's an actual like seed packet that you can use. So now that really just kind of strengthens that area that I'll be adding a brad to and adding papers to. It just will kind of help that. So I'm just kind of distressing it just to kind of, match it up, get rid of that white edge from cutting it, just have it all kind of blend back together. Make it look like it's all, that's exactly how it was supposed to be. And I think I'll kind of walk you through one of them and how I kind of like choose some different papers. And then I'm going to kind of get everything all ready and show you what I've done. Or we'll be here all day. So I'm trying to determine what I want to use on this flap. Obviously that matches because it came from the side of that. But I don't believe I end up using that. I'll pick something different and get the glue off my fingers. Now, how cute are these? These must be the backs from like cabinet cards or something, or I don't know, maybe they created them to look like they were. I don't know, but they're adorable. And I think there are like 8 to a page. So there's tons here. So I kind of use that a lot as the background. I thought that was so cute. And I love that pattern too. It's so pretty. So what I'll do is I'll kind of like, cut off those, like floral wreath looking things. I just think it's really pretty. And I'm kind of determining, just like how big I want it to be, if I want it to have more of a natural kind of tear, which is what I'm doing there. If I want it more natural and kind of a little bit more wonky, you can kind of see that a little bit, then I'll just fold it and tear it. But if I want it to be more uniform and straight, I'll use the metal ruler or scissors, like what I'm doing there. I think I end up getting rid of more of it though. Yep. That was the right decision. And I just think those, like the border from the other page that I had printed on the other side, which I think is from the Country Cottage. I don't know if it's in the junk journal kit or the Ephemera kit, but either way, it's a newer kit, kits that they've put out, and they're really cute. So I'll end up using that stamp as well. So I'm looking at the label mixtures and trying to determine if I wanted to use any of them. And then I kind of go back to the wreath. And I'm really just kind of inking it just to kind of blend in a bit with that writing, because I think I'll actually end up using that, as kind of like a background for it. And this letter is really old and really brittle. I don't know what it's been through, but it's been through a lifetime of something. But not so brittle that I can't bend it, but almost looks like it was in a fire or something, just the way that the edges are kind of like burnt looking on some of it. And I think it's very old. Just the way that they're writing and the paper, you can just kind of like tell that something's, different than, well, I don't know what I'm trying to say, just like different. That made absolutely no sense, did it? I think you understand. You understand where I'm going with that thought. It looks different. The paper is different. The writing is different. The way it bleeds into the paper is different than, some of, the newer stuff, even though the newer stuff is still old. I feel like it's really old, and I don't know because it's, a piece of something, but I feel like it's might be from the 1800s. So I just love this, not only the background, but the pretty little, I don't know, like daisy flowers, on that border. So I kind of want them peeking out on this layer. So that's what I'm working towards as I layer up all these different pieces. And you could layer up as much as you want to layer up. Because I'm just using printer papers, for the most part. Everything is, pretty thin, all the different scraps and ledger pieces. So you could really layer these up. I don't even know exactly how many layers I did. I based it on the way it looked, and the overall. But you could give yourself, you use 5 or 8 pieces or whatever it is. I always feel like the more scraps you can use, the better. Because I always have scraps. And I love using them for projects like these. I'll end up taking a little bit more off that. I kind of just want everything peeking out, even though you don't see the whole image of anything. I just want a little bit of everything peeking out. So you're seeing this in real time of how long it actually takes me. But I just love it. It's so cute. I'll still end up adding something behind there, but I think I show it a little bit later. And there we go. So I'm showing the one that I just was working on, but I'm showing it completed. But don't worry, I'm going to take it all apart. I'm going to show you all the different little pieces so that you can see everything. I just cut out all of the, searching and finding and tearing and all that sort of stuff, so that you can just kind of see more of the finished look. So I've loosely tied it with a piece of twine, really loose, so it's so easy to take it apart. And then my whole entire stack is, right there at the top to the lip of the, or the flap of the envelope. And the whole thing is glued in place, so it's not usable, but however you can make it usable. So I just added all of these different pieces together to just create this cute little parcel. And then, they swing out, but it can also be where, you just kind of flip things up and maybe you tuck in a quote or write a little bit of a memory somewhere or something like that. I just think it's really pretty to look at. It's pretty to decorate pages with. So depending on how I'll use it, I don't know if I'll actually glue this one down, but I might. An idea is to take a piece of paper and kind of stick it in on the back side of the twine there and glue that down, and then that pocket could slip in and out. So I'll kind of show some different ways that I do these other ones, so you'll see. So this is the very first one that I had done, that I was going to actually glue it to a journal page, and I'll grab my journal and I'll show you. So what I'll do with this one is I will just, glue it down. So it's all just really pretty to look at. And then I'll determine, how I want to tie it, or if I just want to paper clip it to the side, but I'll still glue it down, but then to prevent everything from moving around. But as you can see here, just depending on what you're using, it may not move much. It really just, it all depends. It depends on how heavy your papers are and things like that. So I'm just showing that I cut out that floral image from the label mixtures. But I can just glue that to a page, or it could also be like a corner pocket as well. So it depends on the strength of your page. It just depends on how you do everything. And then I'm kind of showing, I don't know, I may, put some twine on it. I may not. I won't know till I actually, add it. And they can just be paper clipped in place. But I really like the idea that it's like a little parcel that that it'd be glued down. So, because paper clipping it, as you see, it just, flops around because of its weight. So gluing it down will prevent all of that. And I would pick a better page that's more durable, as opposed to that book page. But just some ideas, some things to think about. So here is the other pocket that I did, and this is an actual pocket. So these are both not pockets, and this one is a pocket. So things can actually be put inside there as well. These would be really cute for Happy Mail as well. So I just took a piece of tea-dyed paper, added a little bit of embossed paper on there. Here's one of those, like cabinet cards. There is just like a scrap piece of like ledger that, the blank. And then here's one of the printed, ones from the Country Cottage. And that's the reverse. So one side is up and then the other side is the other up. Explaining things is just, I don't know, it's just not my strength. And then I just took a little piece of lace and, stapled it to that brown paper, which I think was from I don't know what that was from. I think like an old prescription book or something. I'm trying to remember. I try to use everything. So I'm just showing you here how I do it. So the first thing I did was I just punched a hole into the flap. And then I'm just layering everything there and then just putting a little pencil mark there so I know where to punch the next one. And I'm using a really, really tiny punch for my brads because I'm using really tiny brads. So this one is like, it's really tiny. I'll try to remember to put the link. If I don't, holler at me. And then I'll add it because I can't remember the size of that hole. It's microscopic. So that brad is a little bit bulky, and I was trying to decide, do I want that one? But I will. And then you can just, add all your pieces. Normally you can just kind of add them all at once, but because I had so many layers here and that piece of lace, I just did them all individually. It's absolutely so cute and so adorable. I love these. And I mean, this would be so cute with a piece of like fabric at the back or something like that, or all fabric. That would be cute too, like just doing some different swatches. Because I mean, that's kind of what you're doing. You're just doing some decorative swatches, whether you're adding journaling space or just something pretty to look at. You could do a variety of both. And then I kind of just, when you first put it on there, you'll see like the pages want to, flip up a bit because they're not quite heavy enough. And so I just kind of like bend everything a little bit and it'll eventually lay down, but that's where it comes in of, it's nice to kind of have some kind of band. So I just took a piece from this like country cottage design and just, cut a little strip. And then I strengthened those ends there and added some eyelets. And then I'll put twine through and I'll tie it in a bow. That's another way that you could fasten your things down. And you could actually adhere the band there with the eyelets. You could actually just glue that to your page and then slip out that packet, if you wanted to. Or just glue the whole thing down. I was having so much trouble like threading this. They have that this particular twine has like that gold metallic thread and it has a mind of its own and gets all kind of crazy. And so then it makes it hard to thread it. And you could put your band anywhere you want. You could put it up higher, you could put it lower, doesn't really matter. But I think it ends up being so cute. I mean, you could use lace to tie it. You could use like, other decorative strings, or fibers. You really can use anything that you want to. It really just depends on the look you're going for, where you want to put it. You know, if you're not going to put it in a journal and you're going to, give it to pen pals or something like that, then, it's probably not going to matter as much, if it's something that you use that's bulky to tie it. Or you could just leave it loose because eventually it'll, flatten down. It's just because it's all new. Or if you add like a lot more papers to weigh it down as well. So I'm just showing how that kind of slides. So you could just glue that to the page and then your seed packet could slide in and out. It'd be a little fiddly, but it would work. So I'm just kind of showing how that would look in a journal as well. and probably blabbering on about a bunch of other stuff that I don't remember what I said. So here's another one that I just glued it all together. So this is a fake seed packet. It looks like it, but it's not. And then I'm showing how like some of the packets already have like a beautiful design. I had to cover up that other one because I actually flipped the flap the opposite direction. So that's why there's like writing on that. But again, if you printed on the inside of the seed packet, then you'd already have a design there. So I'm just adding some of these scraps, and I just decided to add like those hole reinforcements. I like that additional interest that it adds. And I don't know, coffee or tea dyed them. I don't remember. And then I add a little piece of lace trim to the bottom of that and made that, the top part of that stamp like a little bit longer so that, you know, when it all lined up and stuff, you would see more of it. So, I mean, you can really add anything that you want, you know, to these bundles. So here you'll see that I'm just kind of lining that up, punching the hole first, and then, you know, I'll put the papers in there, mark the little hole. You could also wing all this and just, you know, guess. But I didn't want to mess it up. So in an instant like this, I'd like to be a little bit more precise. And, you know, your papers don't actually have to fit perfectly on the seed packet like I did. I liked kind of though seeing that seed packet, but I mean, if they go off a little bit and stuff, you know, it doesn't matter. You do whatever works for you and whatever your aesthetic is, whatever you like, you know, and that's the fun thing about experimenting with all these different papers and trying them all out and just, you know, seeing the different things that you can come up with. So this one I'll tie with this really pretty sari ribbon. And I think that looks cute too. I really like the look of the sari ribbon on it. I think it's adorable. You could also mass make these. I mean, you could just play all day and use, you know, tons and tons of scraps. You'll still have scraps left over. You won't use them all, but, you know, you could use a ton of different scraps and just create all these. But how fun would these? These would be so fun to send to people in the mail, and, you know, it'd just be a happy little parcel that they would get. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll make some, you know, tag me on Instagram. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I will put all the kits below. If there's something I leave out, just holler at me. Let me know that, you know, you need something or want something, a link to something. I do my best, people. I do my best. But anyway, have a fabulous day. Enjoy it. And I hope you will, you know, be inspired and get out all your crafting goodies and, you know, craft something up too. Alrighty. Bye-bye.